kick off our very first segment, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals with the Suns and Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks were able to defeat the Hawks in six, even though their best player Giannis went down with an injury. No timetable yet on his return. The Bucks have not really said anything about when he's going to come back. As of now, we're recording this on July 6th. Game one is tonight. Uh, I'm not sure if he's gonna play or not. And there's been a bunch of things. Obviously, now there are doctors, but people have been saying, "Oh, he'll be back for game two. He'll be back for game three. He might be playing game one." No one really knows when he's gonna come back, and that's gonna be this. That's gonna be the main storyline of this series because the Bucks are a completely different basketball team, and in my opinion, they stand no chance against the Phoenix Suns with no Giannis.
I agree. And I believe today he was upgraded from doubtful to questionable. And then I was watching a little bit of like the pregame show on ESPN. And like there's like this discussion about whether he should play or not. Because they're going to test him in the warm-ups. And if he's not, even if he's like, okay, he could play. I mean, might as well rest him.
Because I mean, the main thing is you don't want what the Lakers got when Anthony Davis muscled it up and played against the Suns, because he came out for about 3-4 minutes and then just went right back to the locker room. So you don't want you got to play this risky game because one, it's the NBA Finals and you got to win these games, but two, if he goes out there, is he gonna get hurt even worse and have zero chance of coming back?
And like I understand that, and I'm in the camp of like resting him this game, and if you have to rest him game two, because even if you go down two, you're gonna be able to go back to your home court and have
I agree with that
you
because
Giannis in the series.
because I think if they were at home, he would have to play in my opinion because losing, because it's obviously going down 0-2 is not ideal, and also game 2 is on Thursday, so everything like with injuries like this where he's considered day to day, 24 hours 48 hours can make a major difference. So I don't think he's going to play game 1, but for him to be rested for game 2 or even go back to Milwaukee for game 3, that's going to be major for them.
And like it could be like some type of out card, trick out the bags, and it could like maybe try to shock the Suns, because if they're on a roll in the middle of the series, you just play Giannis.
Yeah,
Throw him off
and the Suns have no matchup for him. No one can match up with him. I mean, Jay Crowder, even though he was part of that wall that was able to limit him last year, I don't think they have the same personnel. And then also Mikal Bridges, there's him, but I don't think Giannis. He's a different beast, but you never know how he's going to come back after the injury. He might be only 60% of himself, and that Bucks need about 110% out of him in order to have a chance in the series.
Yeah, and Bucks without the team, looking at the team without Giannis, I mean, we've seen what they've done at the end of the Eastern Conference Finals with Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis,
Drew Holiday,
and then you're being led by Chris Middleton.
You're not being led by Chris Middleton. You're not getting led by Chris Middleton. You're getting led by Drew Holiday.
Okay.
Drew Holiday, in my opinion,
you're getting led by
no,
Chris Middleton.
No, you're not. I think Drew Holiday's taking a major step. I mean, I think he's that second option for him right now. Because Middleton, I don't know if he counts as an option. I don't know. Because he's so bad. Like, I don't know if he counts as an option.
He was the second star before Holiday came in.
What second star? You mean the 2 points he had against Toronto in the conference finals? That's the second star? Where was he?
Look how, okay, you can say the stats all you want, but look how the team is constructed. He's this Robin to the Giannis's Batman.
Only thing Chris Middleton's a Robin to is freaking knock off Batman. That's the only thing he's Robin to.
But I mean, the Suns and the Hawks are two completely different teams. So even if they have like the performances they had at the end of that series, probably still going to lose. Suns in game 1 of the NBA Finals, so it's the biggest stage. You can possibly play on. And also with the coaching from the Bucks, Budenholzer, I don't really trust Budenholzer.
Yeah, I don't believe in him either. I mean,
that team without Giannis.
I mean, like Bucks fans, they're in this tricky situation where it's like, I mean, you can see him. I mean, that play call. Remember, he had it. I think it was game 7. It was either game 6 or 7 against. I think it was 7, and the Bucks had the ball with about 1 or 2 seconds left in the game, and he called a terrible inbounds pass to Brooke Lopez, and I don't know if that was Brooke Lopez or Coach Bud, but something went wrong there. Something went wrong there, and in my opinion, the coach has got to get the blame because he's the one drawing up the plays, and the Bucks, they're going to be stuck with Budenholzer for the next at least 2 years, at least 1 year minimum.
He made the NBA Finals. So
yeah, he's going to be there next year.
Yeah, and if the worst case scenario for the Bucks right now is them, to lose the NBA Finals and then lapse the next couple of years, because he's going to have that in the back.
Yeah, and then be stuck with Coach Bud and be stuck with Chris Middleton. I mean, it can't be worse than that for a Bucks fan.
Yeah, I mean, it truly can't. But look at the series, seeing what Monty Williams has done as well.
I mean, he's made me think about who I thought would be Coach of the Year. I mean, I thought Thibodeau deserved Coach of the Year with the Knicks, but I mean, Monty Williams has completely changed my mind about that. I think he deserved to be Coach of the Year because although Thibodeau did more with less. I mean, Monty just because Thibodeau lost in the first round of the Hawks, and Monty's in the finals right now with a real good shot at winning it all. So whether you want to say it's because of injuries, he's still in the finals.
Yeah, and man, looking at the other side with Monty Williams working magic with the Suns team, it's like as you said earlier episodes, like him and Tom Thibodeau, that race. And
even Quinn Snyder.
That race for the Coach of the Year discussions made everybody change their mind. Like, nobody thought that he would end the playoff drought in Phoenix, and then on top of that, take him to the finals.
Yep.
That's a wild jump.
Franchise. Yeah, it's franchise altering. I mean, it's the first final since '93 with Charles Barkley. And it's the first playoffs in over a decade or almost a decade. I mean,
a decade.
And he's completely just changed narratives of that team too. Like DeAndre Ayton, obviously everyone was saying you should have taken Luke, and I still agree with that. But he's not exactly viewed as a bust anymore. He's viewed as a very solid center who can be as a very good player for your team for many years. And Devin Booker went from, as we talked about last podcast episode, he went from a player who was he just puts up big numbers on a bad team to a certified superstar. So, and then Chris Paul, he also changed his image from playoff choker, always gets hurt. I mean, knock on wood, he doesn't get hurt late. But it seemed that the last 4 or 5 playoff series he was in, he always seemed to get hurt at the worst time possible. And also, I thought that was going to happen against the Lakers. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but he had an arm injury, I believe, in Game 1. And I was like, oh, it's happening again. Chris Paul getting hurt when his team needs the most. I mean, what a surprise. But he was able to come back, and he looks great. So
he does, and this is the time for his career to get a ring. If it's not now,
it's not now, I don't think it'll ever happen. And this is also his best chance he's ever had. Because
true,
just
you have an injured Bucks team you're playing.
You're playing against the Bucks. You're playing against Coach Bud. You're not playing against Giannis, and you're playing against Chris Middleton. All those factors should lead to your best chance for a championship.
Yeah, and
I've also
go ahead. Just seeing how he's proved his hate is strong. He's kept his health, which ultimately is not something you can really control. And you get hurt, how you get hurt, what injuries you get. But he kept himself in good shape. I don't know if it's because of that diet. The
vegan diet.
But he kept himself in great shape and great form too. He's been killer.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of if you just scroll through NBA Twitter, everyone a bunch of people saying, "Oh, this Phoenix ring or this Bucks ring isn't going to count," and I completely disagree with that. Because
people try to discredit every single ring.
I mean, the thing is, you could do that for literally every ring in the history of the league. Because this year you can say, oh, if Phoenix wins, they didn't have to play Anthony Davis, they didn't have to play Jamal Murray, they didn't have to play Kawhi Leonard. And if the Bucks win, you can say they didn't have to face a healthy Nets team, right? And they didn't have to play Trae Young for 2 games. But then they do the same thing last year, Mickey Mouse ring for the Lakers, which makes no sense because
Guppy.
Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, they can only play what's presented to them. They can't choose their opponent. They can't choose who gets hurt. They they just play who they're playing, who they're scheduled to play. They can't control if it's in the bubble in Orlando or if it's at their home arena. Like they can't control that. Go back to 2019.
Like, real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but real quick, just especially like injuries, like
Mm-hmm.
as unlucky can be and as unfortunate it happens and as random it is, the nature of injuries are. It's a part of the game. So even if the Suns played an injured team in every single round, they played the Clippers, no Kawhi, Nuggets, no Jamal Murray. Then you have injury issues with the Lakers, right? Anthony Davis. Like, yeah, it helps your path a little bit, but you have no control over that, as you said. And people are just too quick to write off rings. You know, Toronto, it was KD.
Yeah, everyone was saying KD and Clay got hurt. That's why it doesn't count. And then go back to 2018. LeBron didn't have a real team, so that doesn't really count. 2017, Kawhi got hurt, doesn't count. 2016, Draymond was out Game 5. That quote unquote doesn't count. I mean, you can just go on and on like with these endless possibilities. Like who knows? There's a reason they're hypotheticals and possibilities because they didn't happen. Just go with what's happening, and these rings count as much as any other ring. So, I mean, that's the main point here. Because I mean, I don't understand why fans. Is it because it's not their favorite team winning it, or just because they're salty, or like what is it?
I mean, could be a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
I've never, as a Wizards fan, me and you, I mean, we have not had that great success. I think it's more of like the bigger franchises not having success. But when it comes,
I agree with that
Wizards
too because
fan,
I think like Celtics fans and Lakers fans especially they're just spoiled with success. Like if they don't win for 3 years, they're like fire the GM, get a new roster, trade for this guy, trade for that guy. But if you're a small market,
Photoshop a disgruntled star.
exactly.
They're always the people who are either.
I've seen Damon like in Miami, in LA, both LA teams, the Knicks, and I mean all these like other than the Knicks, all these and the Clippers as well, but they've always been the little brother of the Lakers. All these big market teams have always been successful.
Yeah.
I mean, and after 5 years they get mad, but teams
actually not. You said Clippers. Clippers have not always been successful.
I know, but they've had decent teams, but they had the Lob City years.
I mean, yeah, but like always been successful.
I guess, but the Lakers are also in that city, so I guess they kind of count.
True.
And
I agree.
Like the Hornets have never even won a playoff series.
Yeah.
So,
but it is what it is. But like, being spoiled is a factor. Also, NBA Twitter, any Twitter subgroup is gonna be completely reactionary to what's happening.
Exactly.
Super, recency bias, and also it's gonna be crazy takes from the most delusional people. That is what Twitter is. That is the account.
That is true. I mean, I've seen some people say like Danilo Gallinari and Chris Middleton are like decent NBA players, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
I mean, Middleton is. He's an all-star.
No, Middleton's not an all-star. He's a fake all-star. He's a fake all-star.
It's like people trying. I mean, yeah, it's just gonna happen. Like who knows? 2022 NBA Finals is gonna be a fake ring. 2023 is the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna continue on and on, in my opinion.
I mean, I was just going in like the For You page. I was just seeing, some of the stuff, and it was like a KD tweet, and it's like NBA fans always hate the NBA. It's weird. It's completely true. If it's Lakers, Nets, people are gonna be like, oh, it's predictable, super teams.
Adam Silver wanted it, all that stuff.
If it's Suns, Bucks, it's two trash teams. What a trash finals is gonna be. People never get happy.
That is true.
Have year breaking, like the Cavs. They were never a super team, you could say, but I mean, they're just not that level.
I mean, no one was at that level with those Warriors teams with Kevin Durant. I mean, you take the greatest team of all time, add arguably the best scorer of all time, and that's unbeatable. That's unbeatable.
Wait, how many years in a row was it?
4, I think, with the Cavs Warriors, right?
Cavs Warriors for like 4 years.
I mean, I love this type. I would rather have this than what it was before, because I mean, it almost felt like, because obviously the injuries have like at this point have gotten ridiculous with so many. But at that point, it was like no one really got hurt other than at, like the 2015 finals with Kyrie and K Love. But it kind of just felt like, just what's the point of even watching the regular season and the playoffs if we know who's going to meet up? Like it really did feel like that, and like now it feels like now it's like the regular season does matter. It really does, because think about it like this: the Lakers were the 7th seed, and they had to go against the team that's in the finals now. If they were a little bit better, the 6th seed, they would have been playing the Clippers. If they were a little bit better than that, they would have been the 5 playing against the Nuggets. They definitely could have won that series against the Nuggets, for sure, in my opinion. And who knows? Like, who knows what they be? I mean, this playoff seeding matters much more, and it makes me want to watch the playoff games more because I don't know who's gonna win. I really don't. And there's only a couple complete mismatches. Like the Suns were able to sweep the Nuggets, but there's been a bunch of game 7s. I mean, it's been more. This playoffs have been more fun to me than like the ones in like 2017 or 2018.
Yeah, when you like know what's, and I mean people really considered that Western Conference Finals to be the real finals.
I think it was too. The Rockets
Warriors games were way more entertaining to me than a lot of those. I mean, maybe not you because you're a Bron fan. But for me, being a neutral, maybe I was actually like I used to be a mini Rockets fan because of Harden. Like man, those Rockets Warriors. I think that one game.
I mean that the baby Celtics versus Braun was also really fun.
Yeah, it was nice.
2-year-old Tatum, as Celtics fans would say.
Yeah, but Chris Paul and Harden versus those Warriors teams. I mean.
Yeah, I mean they really had the best chance. Like they really did.
Like they had a lot of the NBA memories we have now. Like remember Harden and Chris Paul fighting on the bench.
And I really believe that if Chris Paul didn't get hurt, like I was talking earlier, I think they would have won that series. I really do.
True.
But that's hypotheticals. You never know. And then moving on. Actually, no. Before we move on, let's make our prediction on the series. Who do you think's gonna win? Suns, Bucks, and also tell me your Finals MVP.
Okay, so I know that I said earlier that the Bucks. I mean, they should rest Giannis because even if they go down 2 games, they could still win this. I'm still gonna say the Suns because I really believe they're gonna play him today. Like if you're going if you're getting upgraded from doubtful to questionable and like that quick of a time.
Yeah, but that also could just be a play from the Bucks to just change up the game plan from the Suns, maybe.
I don't know, but like it's just in the form that the Suns team is on. Like with you guys playing, not you guys, but like with the Bucks playing rushed Giannis. I just feel like this playoff NBA playoff finals is gonna be 2006 to me.
2006.
Suns in 6.
Oh, Suns in 6. Oh.
6 games. And my Finals MVP prediction is go with the. I mean, this NBA Finals award, like MVP, Finals MVP award, it's always based on a narrative. So I'm probably gonna try to give that to Chris Paul because I can see why people would give it him because he changed his franchise.
All these years playoff, for my prediction, it really comes down to one thing. It's really just Giannis. I mean, is he going to play? When's he going to play? How healthy is he going to be? I mean, those are the biggest questions of the series. Because Suns, they're healthy. They're ready to go. Bucks, other than Giannis, they look pretty healthy. Other than, they lost DiVincenzo, but he's out. I mean, Giannis, the thing is, I don't think he's going to play game 1, but does he come back for game 2? Does he come back for game 3? When does he come back? I mean, with what I'm hearing mainly, I've been hearing that he's going to come back game 3, and at that point, I don't see the Bucks stealing a game in Phoenix. I think Phoenix is going up 2-0, and I think Giannis and the Bucks will put up a good fight, but I think the Suns will win in 7 on their home court. And Chris Paul, I think, will also win MVP, mainly because of the narrative. He might not necessarily be better than Booker, or even Aiden for that matter. But I just think the narrative will just be, and also I would vote for him too. Like even if he was worse, he deserves it. All these years, all the Lob City years were just all those things. They always lost. They always fell short. They lost 3-1 to the Rockets to go to the conference finals when he was with the Rockets. So close, one game away to the finals. And I mean, like he goes to Oklahoma City with a tarnished reputation, builds it back up, goes to Phoenix, and if he wins it, he gets the Finals MVP, no questions asked. Unless Booker is literally averaging 55.5, 12, and 13. That's the only way he gets it, but that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little unfortunate for him because you know how he's relatively young, NBA stars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he could bag that Finals MVP and that ring, his legacy's already going to be boosted. And also to go back to like NBA Twitter, media has a lot to say about your legacy and your icon factor at the end of your career. Like, and seeing how recency bias and how reactionary they could be, imagine Booker gets that a ring and Finals MVP. Be so over. I don't want to say overrated because it'll be a big accomplishment, but
overhyped.
Like how overhyped he would be, and like this, I could already see. Oh my goodness, him being like compared to like these NBA greats.
I could definitely see that too. Him being compared to someone like I don't know, like just the top players that like the D Wade. He'd be compared to D Wade in my opinion because the 2000 I said it like as I said 2006. I mean that 2006 title, D Wade he really carried that Heat team to win it all with Shaq, and I think he'd be compared to him. But we'll see. Moving on.
Real quick though.
Yeah.
Like last year, AD won. He had a great series, and we're comparing him to like, and people were saying he was better than Tim.
Oh my.
How can you even say
come
that?
on, man.
And look at him now. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Moving on, let's talk about someone who's been in the storylines a lot recently. Rachel Nichols. She's if you don't know who she is, she's the host for ESPN. She's mainly works on The Jump, and she was supposed to work on the NBA Finals, but she got taken off of it because of her comments on her colleague Malika Andrews.
From Andrews. Like Mariah Taylor or something.
It's Maria Taylor. My fault.
Taylor. So, I mean, diversity hires and like, I mean, and also like, this also extends to like, type of like affirmative action, and focus on diversity in your workplace.
And if I can really quick, let me just say the quote really quick, just so our audience knows what quote we're talking about here. So this was in July of 2020 after Maria Taylor was given the hosting duties of the NBA Finals, Lakers vs. Heat. I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you are feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity, which, by the way, I know personally from the female side of it, like, go for it. Just find it somewhere else. You are not going to find it from me or taking my thing away. And this has caused a huge controversy because people are saying she shouldn't be saying that. It's racially insensitive, all that type of stuff. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, a big part of how I think about it, as a black man in America, and people like call out that you have your job because of your race. Like people see you in a high position, and they assume you're a diversity hire or this or that. Like Maria Taylor, like she worked hard to get where she is right now. Like you don't have to it's a diversity hire and stuff like that. It's just that's first thing I have to say about that. Second thing about diversity hires, and that on its own has been a subject of controversy way above sports.
Yeah, that's that's a step above. That it goes further than just sports. But if I just go really quick, you can continue. But I think, in my opinion, there's also another quote in here from a man who works with LeBron James as well. He's been working with
Yeah.
LeBron for a while, and he said, "quote Between the Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter, I don't think I have any more room left." And after he said this, him and Rachel Nichols had a little bit of a laugh, and that proves to me, like, when people like Rachel Nichols and the LeBron let's just say, like, works with him, but Rachel Nichols especially, she's when you go to the jump, she said she supports them, but it kind of shows, like, do they really support this? Like,
A lot of this is media talk, and just like having a good brand reputation. Think about it. If you're like,
it's
look, if you're on,
performative.
if you're on ESPN and you're like, oh, I'm not, BLM. Oh, I'm not this. First of all, players are gonna get mad because there's more controversy. The last thing you want as ESPN is to be subject to controversy. Let's just say that right now. A lot of how business is done is your brand reputation, and you don't want brand risks. I feel like this was a moment of brand risk. And talking about the LeBron, that was like a friend of his or like agent
It's
or what? What was it?
the relationship that they said was colleague of LeBron, and they just
If
said
you're like,
he works with him. He regularly talks with him. He's part of his little
okay,
circle.
so if BLM and Me Too movement really stresses you out and it goes to the point where you have no time left, I mean, that kind of speaks a lot to who you are. If you're just not a bad person,
hmm
like that stuff shouldn't something that should worry you or tire you out. But
Yeah,
this is my two
and
cents on that. It is what it is.
I think I agree with you on the main part, and I just think, like, I feel this kind of exposes, like, what I've been thinking and what a lot of other people have been thinking, that, like, some some I don't know how to say it, like, some white people just pick up on these, like, cultural or, like, people of color, like, trends, quote unquote trends, like the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, and just roll with it to seem more nice, but behind closed doors they have different objectives and different thoughts than what they display to camera and what they display
Yeah,
to
and like
others.
even like during this past month, June, like Pride Month, you know how like companies
Yep,
do their I think it's
change
called
their
rainbow
logo.
marketing,
Yeah, they change their logos and stuff, right?
do their little rainbow marketing or
Yeah.
whatever it is, and just feel like it's pretty obvious that these companies are only doing it, to make their customers feel like, oh, this is not a bad company.
Oh yeah,
Because more
they're.
people are being
Yep.
conscious of what, yeah, like more people are being conscious of who they're buying from and what companies are doing nowadays.
Mhm.
That's the first thing. And the second thing is, these companies have historically, many of them have been called out for really not being what they say they're for. Pride Month, I think a couple of U.S. Congress people called out companies
Eh,
for really
yeah.
not
Eh,
backing up what they say they
mhm.
are.
And it makes you think, like, within ESPN, Rachel Nichols, and I said that coach said track crappy diversity record. Does this mean that the stuff ESPN is saying, like, oh, we'll hire more people of color, like, is that really happening? Because obviously not everyone's gonna be, Jalen Rose or, like, Greeny, and, like, always gonna be one, like, the top 5 anchors they have, and always gonna be on a bunch of segments like Stephen A. Smith and stuff. There's gonna be people behind, like, who are gonna be working at the computers, who aren't gonna be on screen. Are those people being fairly represented? And, like, is this all just a show? Is it really?
I think it could be. I don't want to make assumptions because I don't know every member of the ESPN faculty, right? But just at the end of the day, what you make people believe of you is all that matters to a company. And I don't want to paint every company as like some evil organization. But like every company has their interests, and sometimes, and most of the time, they don't really care. A lot of this, uh, a lot of these like diversity matters, diversity
Mhm.
hires and stuff like this. They try to get away with doing the least,
Yep. Bare
um,
minimum.
do it the bare minimum and just getting by. And whatever like, come on. We don't know who they're
And
hiring. We don't
yeah,
know
and
who's
this also
managing
brings
the
up
team.
like in the
How much they work.
NFL when the coach was talking about when he went for an interview with an unnamed team, he was said he's not the right Asian.
Yeah,
And
like,
this shows like
right.
when a person of color, especially in like a job that's like usually with a white like with a white worker there, does it show that and they're supposed to go for the diversity ticket? Do they look more at their qualifications or more on if they're black or white or Hispanic or brown or whatever?
Yeah, because it's not like there's like a shortage of qualified people of color, qualified Asians, African Americans, Latino, Hispanic. Like, there's enough pool of workers that would gladly come and work with you on
Mhm.
ESPN pays well, I'd imagine.
Yep.
So, um, and not giving them a chance be crappy, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And I mean, I never really looked at ESPN to be honest, and said, "Oh, they have a crappy diversity." Um,
I mean, yeah, but
record.
we also don't see all that stuff behind the scenes. So, I mean, I really and also I think Rachel Nichols she should be fired for this stuff, and especially when you think of
And
like other
they got
things.
rid of Paul Pierce
Yeah, Paul Pierce was
because
gone
of
the
what
next
he did.
day. He was
Yeah,
gone the next day, and I mean, I just don't think this type. You were saying earlier the brand reputation. I mean, people have been saying she's not fired yet because she has a connection to Diane Sawyer. Uh, you remember her? She was on ABC for like years on years.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
recognize.
think she's related or she's got a good like connection to her. And people are saying that's the main reason she hasn't been fired yet. But you gotta,
Yeah,
I mean, for whether whatever reason you choose, she should be fired and she shouldn't be working at ESPN anymore.
yeah. But as I was saying about brand risks and everything, you have to realize the flip side. If you fire her for what she's saying, because there's a large group of people that agree with what she said, and if you fire her because of that, for being a brand risk, that will cause a lot of outrage. And just imagine the organizations picking up on that,
Yeah, but I mean, the
creating
whole ESPN, like they've been
controversy.
as a company, not just Rachel Nichols, but they've been saying like, oh yeah, we support these causes like BLM. But if one of your lead anchors and hosts is saying the complete opposite, and then she's saying, oh, this person only got a job because pretty much because they're only black, then it goes against exactly what you were saying, a couple months ago. So it's a bad look for them either way.
Um, you remember let me remember. You know Will Kane?
Yeah, he worked. He was on.
Sure.
He was on ESPN a couple times. He did on the show, but he's on Fox now, right?
Yeah. So Will Kane, he was on Fox. I think he did a segment with Stephen A. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And with Will Kane, he got his own controversy. He got his own not scandal, but like just a terrible situation, terrible statements. Like he would always make weird miss on ESPN, but it is what it is. He got fired, and then now he's on Fox News. So Rachel Nichols going on Fox News. Is that what's next? Is that what's
They
happening?
could definitely have a duo
No,
show. A
Rachel
duo.
Nichols is the type of person, is the type of woman to go on Fox News. I'm gonna say that right now.
I mean, Stephen A.
All
I think Stephen A. has been on
News
Fox.
women, bro. Fox News women. They all have like the same. You know what I mean, bro? All the same. They're just pretty faces. Come on now. I have to say it. Fox News, all they put is pretty faces on TV.
Laura Ingram.
It's facts. Unless they're like not super old. I doubt
I
they're
guess,
older
but
than.
I don't know.
Come on now.
I don't
You
know.
can't lie, because what happened in the bubble.
Oh yeah, that. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but the accusations between her, Jimmy Butler, and Ursan Ilyasova. I mean,
Juicy as hell. I'm not gonna lie. The
the
question is, need it or keep it. Need it or keep it. That's the question at the end of the day. I'm
question.
personally, um, let's say this podcast becomes big one day, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to preserve my reputation, I'm gonna say keep it. But you know, DSA is.
I'm saying I'm just gonna do what Rachel Nichols does. I'm gonna say one thing on camera and another thing in private. I'm gonna say you can keep it, but behind closed doors, I might have a different answer.
I guess so.
All right, that wraps up our NBA segment.